Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's webcast. Really do appreciate you sparing time from your busy schedules to work on your business instead of just in your business, and for trusting us to make this a exciting presentation, educational event. This is not a sales presentation. This is for you to learn more about project management and what we're doing in the space, to be able to make it a little bit more automated to help you do a little bit better. And so I really look forward to our time today. Apologize if my voice sound is not so good. Came down with a little something yesterday, but I'm doing the emergency and powering through, so please forgive me if it sounds a little bit rough. Have some exciting things today. Get to introduce you to a couple of people that I'm really think are going to bless our time together, and I think it's going to be good. But a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. First of all, my name is Sean, founder and owner of RSA Solutions, and what you're viewing on screen currently happens to be, and you're probably familiar with it if you're on this webcast, the rsasolutions.com webpage. And I just want to point out a few things, since we have done some additional formatting that I think could be helpful for you to understand. First of all, from the main page, you will notice that there are listed a number of educational opportunities out in front of you. Today, of course, is the webcast featuring Project, and then on the 26th, we'll have a webcast featuring Planning Assistant. On February 2nd, Planity, Purchasing and Inventory, and then Production Coach on February the 9th. There will be running also a number of live factory tour events that you might have opportunity to be able to register and attend for as well. In addition to the website, I just want to scroll down just a little bit, and this would be helpful, I believe, for you to get more familiar with the different kind of ways that RSA Solutions might be able to help your business, from e-commerce to takeoff and estimation, to project management, to planning and scheduling, purchasing and inventory, whether it's things like tracking, sorting, or kitting, automating shipping and job site tracking, business intelligence, big data, and of course, business finance and banking as well. So we provide a lot of services to the industry. You can simply click on any of those that you're interested in to learn more. Also, underneath the solutions, we recently put up a page that I want you to maybe pay attention to. I think most of our customers, I say most anyway, have W-2 employees, and there's an opportunity out in front of you that you may not be aware of. This is not an RSA Solutions product, but after discovery myself inside of my own business and interviewing a number of customers, I found that this was actually something that most businesses don't know about, and even worse, that if they did hear about it and asked their CPA would probably tell them that they can't qualify, and that is frankly a mistake. The reality is that most CPAs don't know how to effectively deal with this third program of the SBA that's part of the original CARES Act. For many of you, you probably at least heard about or took advantage of PPP. In a lot of cases, local banks were involved with PPP. And so that started off as a loan, but as long as you proved how you spent it to retain employment, payroll protection, then that loan became a grant. And so then you didn't know anything. Second leg of the CARES Act was the EIDL. You probably didn't get much help from CPAs or banks in that case, but if you aren't familiar with it, it was a SBA 30-year low interest loan. The only downside is you do have to pay it back. And so now there's the third leg of this that is called ERC, and that is an employee retention credit. And as you check out this page, I just want you to realize that there's a chance that you could get up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. It does have to be W-2 employees, but I will tell you that they've really taken the handcuffs off of this, that to qualify doesn't mean that your business necessarily had to do less revenue. There's a number of ways to be able to qualify for this. And the reason why we partnered with ERC Specialists, one of the largest in the nation for this. And so watch the video and click on the self-qualify and just try to answer yes to what you can, and then let them help you. I will tell you this much. If you go through that and the first inclination you have is to call your CPA and say, hey, why didn't you tell me about this? They're going to scare you off to make you think that you can't qualify for it and you're going to waste your time. It's just not true. It's a complex piece of tax code that's roughly 200 pages that's changed a number of times. And so if you'd be interested in getting that kind of funding for your business that is not a loan and is not restricted how you use it, you might want to be aware of it. So again, RSA Solutions webpage under Solutions, Employee Retention Credit. So I will get right to the heart of our presentation with that. So I'm going to transition my screen. Okay, now it should be. So first of all, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the person behind the whole magic here of this brand project. And Terry and I have actually worked together for a number of years, my gosh, dating back prior to 2000. And so I've known Terry for a long time, and he's had just a giant passion to be able to provide solutions and automation to the woodworking industry. And so I'm super thrilled to be partnered here on this exciting product. I will have to tell you that in my many years in the industry and survey of customers, really having a way to manage projects is a super big deal. There's a lot of balls to keep up in the air, a lot of things that have to go in specific orders and have to get, taken care of in order to be able to service customers really well. And so what I think that you're going to find today is a great blessing from getting to hear Terry. And I'm going to let him do an introduction, but we actually have a special guest also with us today, Mr. Michael Garcia. So Terry, my friend, I want to give you the mic. I hope I don't sound too gross, but please introduce Michael and share what's on your heart.
I sure will. I appreciate the introduction. By the way, the presentation is on screen one. It's not transitioning yet. So with that said, well, I just wanted to say hello to everyone. And as Sean mentioned, I'm Terry Gregory. I'm one of the directors of Information Connected. And as Sean said, we go back years. I have a long history in woodworking, selling cabinetware, cabinet vision, microvellum, 2020, all the better programs out there. And then over the years, we've kind of evolved more into ERP systems to try to be a full service company for companies that want more data management, which led us to really projects. Sean and I have collaborated on this for quite a bit, and projects is an issue that many people just want to solve the project issue, but there's also tools that are required in projects to make your life easier. For example, calendar and then meant to manage on a calendar view, as well as all your contacts, as well as the documents that are related to the project. So we thought about the whole 360-degree view of a project of how do you know where it all is? How do you know where everything is? And who do you want to grant access to? And how do you communicate to one or a multitude of people as easy as you possibly can? So that was the driver for projects, and I appreciate all Sean's vision and hard work in helping us get there. But we're pretty proud of the product, and it's going to be an exciting journey, that's for sure. Our guest speaker is Michael Garcia, by the way. He's the IT director of Custom Closets and Cabinets out of Florida. Been the IT director for about 5 years. And Michael and I have been working pretty close over the last few months on weekly implementation meetings because he purchased projects. And was the project champion for his company to make sure that it's implemented correctly, the data is set up, and is providing the requirement of what he needed. And so, Michael, can you say hello and tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Good afternoon to everybody here. I feel like you've hit me on the head. Start off as a marketing director initially here at Custom Closets Cabinets. I gradually took on more hats, and here I sit now managing most of their technical stuff as well as some day-to-day operations.
Well, great, and I'm glad I got that fairly right. But I will say one thing about Michael is we have a weekly implementation meeting with our implementation manager, myself, and Michael, and it's real interesting because we talk about what the software does, and Michael says, well, what about this and what about this, and we Michael and I kind of have a shared vision of, it's not a what can it do, it's how can we get it to do what we want it to do and to make it as automated as possible. Is that a fair statement, Michael?
Absolutely. Shoot. One of the best things about you is you have only ever said yes.
Well, as you well know, is to me in the software world, as long as money is not an issue, because it costs money to develop anything, but as long as you take that, that out of the equation, we've learned that with technology and software, my God, we can do a lot. It's very hard to find things in today's technology that, hey, we just can't do that. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about linking to Production Coach or linking to Planity or linking to other accounting systems or linking to other scheduling systems, route planning systems. We've kind of figured out how to connect, and that makes life a lot easier.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, I'd like to ask you, y'all been running projects now for, I guess, a couple of months now. You went live a couple of weeks ago, and you got your actual data in there. You got real projects, and you're going through the tasks. And so if you don't mind, I'd like to just ask you a little bit about your journey to where you're at today. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, the first question I would ask you, what's a typical day look like for you, Michael, at Custom Closet? You come in and what do you do?
First thing's always straight to email. You figure out anything, went after hours yesterday, what's the new thing today, see if there's anything that requires immediate attention. You meet up with the other people, find out what's where, when, and why, anybody in general contracting will tell you that's like half the job in production. Exactly.
And then even when you talk about the tools and technology, when you come into your dashboard, if you check your calendar and you look at your emails and this is what I got to respond to, but our goal in projects is when you log in, it tells you automatically what your tasks are, what's behind, what needs to be addressed, and what doesn't.
Absolutely.
So that's our goal. Yeah. So when you start looking for projects, Michael, what was one of the drivers that at the company that led you to start looking?
As far as project management and all that?
Yes.
The biggest thing, it's two kind of related things. First, stuff was falling through the cracks. We had, let's say, we'll have an entire kitchen built, ready to be shipped. Everything's good. It arrives on site. The installer we've coordinated with arrives on site. Everything is installed, and then they give us a call that day to say, hey, we're short one door. Or, this isn't templated properly, or this is the wrong unit. And the related issue to that second thing is very frequently, if there would be a delay, we'd be late catching that delay, and then we'd be late telling it to the customer. And then, of course, there's that flack there. So we wanted to both mitigate the opportunity for mistakes to happen, and we wanted to also be able to set expectations much more quickly with customers.
100% agree. And, you and I have even discussed, that opening up a customer portal. So, based on access rights, they can log in and provide the information to themselves only about their projects. And so there's just unlimited area that we can go in really to automate the process to where your customers know the information as you know it. So there's a lot of tools there to help us.
Absolutely. I know the stage timeline, getting them access to that would be kind of nice, because then there are fewer inbound calls saying, what's my expectation for X, or when can I see Y?
Exactly. So did you look at several project management solutions?
No, actually, the owner, word of mouth, close business associate of his, I can't recall the name, referred him to you specifically, Terry, and it was just ball rolling from there.
Well, and I appreciate that, but if I believe I've got this right, and Sean will know. I believe there was a machinery dealer that knows Sean Mayberry, and Sean Mayberry knew me, and the referral went through that process. And our first conversation, I thought the owner was looking at just a CRM system, but I was wrong. It was really all about projects.
Yes, sir. Initially, the big burning thing was people were coming to the owner saying, we can't keep dealing with this kind of flack. People are calling and complaining. There are mistakes being made. We need something to catch it. So the initial knee-jerk response was, well, okay, let's get something automated to be able to set expectations. But as we explored your solution, we realized this could become something not just to set expectations, but it could also be something to reduce the need to even further set expectations. We can catch mistakes before they happen.
Exactly. In recalling our conversations with the owner and yourself, is one of the things that the owner had mentioned several times is, we kind of want things our way. We want it to work like we're used to working, not the other way around. We don't want to be taught how to run your software. We want your software to learn how we work. And in that goal, I think one of the most attractive options that the owner found was the ability to really customize it. We can implement it, that's easy, but after you implement it, we can make it yours. And I think the owner thought that was a very important topic to cover.
Absolutely.
Whenever you went through the implementation process, projects is not a real involved process, and usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. And was there any surprises, even in our weekly meetings, or is there any, wow, y'all dropped the ball, or was there anything that you can share about the implementation process that we as a company can learn from how to do better, or that the audience might want to say, hey, this is what you really have to learn to expect, guys?
So anytime you're working with a younger product, there are always going to be the hurdles and then perspectives. The biggest trick, I think, is to bring everyone to the same perspective when you're kind of limited in how you can portray that. If I had to give any advice, it would be use images liberally. If you can take a screenshot of what you want, or give some examples of what you want, or display what you're currently using, it'll convey 100 times better than just explaining it over the phone.
100% agree. I tell my staff that all the time. Make me a movie or send me a picture. It's so much easier. But I appreciate that. Did it require a lot of your time in going through the implementation process? I know the time we spent as a company getting you there, but did it require a lot of your time?
I think the biggest time thing on my part was the information aggregation, because we have a bunch of different information, client lists and such in a bunch of different places, and then cross-referencing that with what is currently accurate, getting with all the sales text. That was my biggest time sink. As far as coordinating with y'all goes, no, I feel like we made pretty good time all told. The only thing that I think might have thrown a wrench in it was, again, that bringing everybody the same perspective. Exactly.
Do you know the one thing about that kind of important, I think, to mention is, during the implementation process, the first part you mentioned was you had to collect all the data. You had to get all the contacts and everybody that you wanted in the system in a central spreadsheet, organized the way it was required to import. And then whenever it was ready, we brought it all in. So you didn't have to key it in, but it still took legwork on your end to organize that data and get it right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any kind of CRM system is only going to be as good as the data you put into it.
Exactly. And the implementation process is, once again, a fairly easy process. You go through the process, set up your data, and off you're running. But the customization process is a little different because everybody, even the definition of customization is a different thing. So how would you view the overall, hey, this is really what I want, and how we delivered it? What's your thoughts about the customization process?
I'd say initially we had some problems in that you were approaching this from the perspective of a programmer, of a person who's looking to automate significantly of we'll set this, and this up and effectively let it run. Whereas on a production end and on a general contracting end with a bunch of subcontractors, with a bunch of things that can go wrong, we needed a human hand to be able to be involved. We didn't necessarily need full automation. We needed the ability for, I'd say, flexibility and variance. We had to be able to take something and make it functionally really easy for the person, but not necessarily have streamlined 3 or 4 copies of something and just say, let her rip.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
After that, though, once we were all on the same page, it was smooth sailing and every idea was accepted, and your developer, Boomi, has done excellent work as far as implementing things.
One thing that and this is just general knowledge, and I'd love your opinion about this, but when you implement a program, it doesn't matter if it's production coach or an engineering program or projects or whatever program you're going to talk about, the person doing the implementation, if they understand your industry, the implementation is just easier. If you have to teach the implementer what a closet is or what a left end is or where's the state of Florida, it gets harder. Would you agree?
Oh no, yeah. Like I said, it shortens that time to bring everybody that same perspective of, okay, these are the variables you care about. The rest of it is just extraneous. Exactly.
Did our team, in general, our development and implementation team and customization team, did they treat you well? Was there ever any issues, concern, like, hey, these guys are nuts, or they didn't give you proper respect? Any of those issues?
No. Everyone that I've spoken to has been professional and honestly very ready to communicate, which is a biggie. It's not like I have to wait long for a response. It's not like I wind up dreading working with them because of how they communicate. Everyone's been great.
Fantastic. One thing we do kind of pride ourselves on, Michael, is because I've worked with all different types of companies and customers in the past. I've worked with actual customers in 44 countries to date, and one thing that we try really hard to do is be proactive instead of reactive. So, we ask for data and we keep asking and we keep asking and we keep asking until we get it. We don't just let it sit and drift endless amount of time, because projects stall. Then we have to relearn it. We have to revisit it, and it just costs everybody more time and money.
Yes, sir.
So we really try to be proactive in that result. And if there's problems arise, it's usually about definition and communication. We try to resolve that pretty quickly and get back on task.
And it shows.
So I guess the last question I would ask for you, you've been running, you've run live a few weeks, and you've had a pretty good history so far with us. But if you had the chance, you know it pretty well now, having a chance, would there be anything different you would suggest in the process other than the communication issue and the vision? Anything else you think that if I had to do it over again, I'd do it this way?
I'd definitely start using pictures earlier. I'd definitely have displayed to you. I would have sat down with you for, a couple of minutes just to explain to you what our current system was. That way you could see it. Because I feel like in seeing it, even though we weren't necessarily copying the system, you understood where my priorities were, where was the information I was looking for.
Agreed. And I 100% agree. Even printed sample reports, we require those now. So we know what you've been looking at, and we don't necessarily duplicate it, but we know the data that's important to you. So I 100% agree with that. Right? So, well, that's all the questions I have. Anything else you'd like to add about technology or projects, anything about, when you think about where we're all going, we know the Internet of Things, we know technology, it's changing rapidly, but you got any thoughts about the future in woodworking business? Are we heading down the path of automation and robotics more and more and more for small shops, or the old theory that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, it's going to survive?
Yeah, no, I'd say you have to be competitive, keep up with the times. Let's say right now, one of the biggest hurdles we have, are communication issues we're looking to resolve as far as client relationships go. Supply. Supply is the trick right now. Inflation's making everything tricky. We're going to have to bring new prices to customers. That's going to be a strain on things. So logistics is pretty major. But as far as keeping things as they were, you can't. We have CNC machines we're buying that'll automate processes as far as cutting doors go. They'll be accurate to within, 3/4 an inch, 1/4 of an inch, whatever we want on the bit. We've got, as you know, our scheduling software, our CRM software to start automating more of that. And it's not about reducing the workforce. It's about enabling people to do more with what they've got,
100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah.
As I see the things I find, I see companies have the same philosophy. I don't want to shrink my workforce. I want to increase my capacity with the same workforce. And the goal in that is to have your people, all the staff, they work smarter, not harder, and they become more efficient. The company earns more money. They earn more money. And so it's a win-win for everybody, but technology is really the driver these days. And we have choices in how we change and adapt our business. But, from e-commerce platforms of selling simple closets or bookcases on the web, selling rocking chairs or whatever, that technology that used to be 6 figures and very complex to do is now fairly simple. And people can get involved in all different types of options in how to diversify their company and grow it and have that extra additional income without throwing a whole lot of man hours at it.
Yes, sir. Shoot,
So
we
again,
got into fan blades not too long ago in that very same mindset.
Really?
Yeah, just someone brought us a weird design, and we CNC'd it out, and now we're partnering up with them.
Wow. That's a good example. That is a good example. I got into cutting out wire spools for electric co-op about 10 years ago, not far down the road from me. And I did the first few, and it grew into doing about $100,000 a year in wire spools. I would have never dreamed it would have got that big.
It's wild. Once you find, well, it's like I say in marketing, once you find that niche, that untapped area, you can just ride that all the way out.
Sure can. And then keep looking for the specials, because the specialty stuff pays well. If anybody could do it, it'd be cheap. But it's specialty stuff from design engineering and, more importantly, customer service. That's what wins the day.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Well, Michael, I sure appreciate your time and appreciate your insight. I appreciate you as a customer, and we're looking forward to really taking this to a higher level with your advice and people like you wanting to grow technology. It's an invaluable resource for us, and I just want you to know I personally appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, this is Sean again. Sorry, my voice just isn't very good. Matter of fact, I had a big coughing, sneezing fit while I went quiet. But thank you for taking your time to come on and help people understand. I know that one of the biggest challenges in our industry is just having confidence to know to be able to take that next step. And so I believe that those on today and those that will watch or hear this recording after will be blessed by your time. So thank you, Michael.
Not a problem. And yeah, much as said, we have to keep up with the times, otherwise we'll be left behind.
Exactly right. Well, thank you again. So, I'd like to spend a few minutes now. I'm just going to kind of walk through some of the key components in what I consider to be some of the most powerful features in project management. And so I'm going to start, the opening screen comes into my tools, but I'm going to open up projects. And you can see I can have multiple projects. And projects can be, some customers, like to put their path, their workflow path as a project. Other people, and Michael, for example, will list each project, each customer sales order as a project, and then he'll set the stages. So it's pretty flexible on how it works, but I'm going to open up, my HPL path, and it'll basically, so it's going to say, when I do HPL work, this is the workflow that I need to go through on my project, what I want to manage. And I can set up unlimited stages, so I can just go over here and add another stage if I want to, and there's no limit to how many you have. And if I add a stage, I'm just going to call it a test, and then I'm going to add it. You'll see test comes up. I can double click it, and then I can go over here and edit the stage. I can see it. There it is. So this will give me the ability to give a stage name, a standard email template if I want to email the different participants. How many buffer days? So how many buffer days prior to the prior task do I need before the project can hit my task? What's the capacity of the task? And I can put it in units, hours, cabinets, whatever I choose to do. And then as I set up the units, then I can pick we'll do units. And then I can pick how many hours. Let's put in 13 hours. And then I can set up the hours. So now I've created a capacity for this stage. I can also prioritize it and so forth. So anyway, I can create that. If I'm tired of that, I can also right click it, delete it, duplicate it, whatever I choose to do in my settings. So I can archive it, I can delete them, and so forth. So if I look at a stage that I've already set up, you can see that I open it up, it tells me the sales order number, what's happening on it, my start date, my stop date, and the customer that's involved. The advantage of having all the other tools in projects is when I edit it, I don't have to type in a customer, I pick them from a list. So all the contacts that I have in my contact screen are listed here. I can sort them by salesperson, by name, email address, whatever I choose. So if I want to change the customer that this task is assigned to, I can. I can change my demand now of this task. So I have a capacity on the stage. Now I have a demand for the task itself that reduces the capacity. I can assign the task. Once again, I can assign it to anybody that is in the contacts. So once again, I can pick from multiple people and assign them to the task. And so when I have 4 or 5 people following this task, when I send the message, all the people following the task automatically get notified. It's mass email at a fingertip. I can also put my deadline in. The other thing that's real interesting is tags. So if I want to tag the project that kind of means something to me, I can just tag it and say, this is going to be laminate work. So I'm going to create a tag that says laminate. I want to create another tag that says delivery. And I can create that tag. And then I can just click up here anytime I want to look at my filters, and I can search by those tags. And it'll pull up every task that has anything to do with delivery, got any task that's got anything to do with laminate. They'll sort automatically based on that tagline. You'll notice I also have timesheets. So as employees that are assigned to the task consume time, we track that time. Purpose of this is a high-level job costing. We estimated 20 hours to quote, and we spent 26. We know we got to get a little bit better at our estimating. So I can estimate my time, and then I can actually track the actual time involved in the project. While I'm in the task, you see automatically all the different stages that are assigned right up top, so I know exactly where it's at any given time. I can also move it to different tasks inside of this window if I choose to, and then I can save the task. A history is automatically completed on that task of every email, every note, every communication that I've had is documented, so we know the audit trail of who's doing what. If I go back and look at my path, I can also, drag and drop between one and another. And if I drag, like for example, this factory first, reference 15, if I move it over ready to ship, you notice it changes ready to ship, but now I have 40 units of capacity. I don't know what the capacity of this project or the demand of this task is, so I just open up the task and say, this takes 2. So now I know for my day's work or week's work what my capacity versus my demand is instantly. I can look at this data in a number of ways. I, of course, can, as I mentioned, the filter. I can look at my tags. I can look at archive. I can look at any kind of search routine I want to use to find my data. I also can assign them as favorites. So it automatically clicks favorites, pulls them up automatically. Our whole goal is to reduce the amount of clicks and time you spend for searching for data. If you look at the list view, you can see the project, what's the project name, hours spent, next activity, who's assigned to them. You can click on them and sort them in a multitude of ways. You can look at it in a calendar view, and you can see exactly what's going on here. You can also drag and drop calendar dates. It automatically updates the task based on what I've just done on my calendar. Every person is color-coded, so it's got a different color for every person assigned to the tasks. You can also look at, graphs and charts and, all the different data presentations you want to see actually how this all works. And you can see right here, if you hover over it, it tells me I have a count in this path of 1. I have 3 tasks on the quote approved. I have 2 over here on waiting on engineering. So I can look at my tasks in a graph and see the data instantly. Now, so that's overall a high-level overview of projects. But the tools that we use in projects to make our life simpler, we look at chat, for example. I can set up individual or group chat with employees or even external staff just through their email address. So if I want to text 15 people in relation to this project, I can click a button, type in a note, everybody gets the message. And it once again creates a history of all communication about that project. I can organize them by folder if I choose to. I can invite different people to different groups, so it makes it real easy to control and manage who has access to it and who can participate. I look back in the calendar, you'll see we have a system-wide calendar that once again will show us day, week, or month, year, or year. Shows me all the tasks that individuals have, who's the responsible party, who's actually the attendees invited. You can have calendars for every employee, every licensed user, and when they're there, when they're not there, any obligations they have, commitments of time. You can set appointments for other people at a certain level you can. You can request participation and find anything you want to find real easy. You can look at it in the calendar view or list view, just click of a button. We talked about contacts. You have unlimited contacts. This is all a cloud-based system, so there's no storage requirement. All your contacts, companies or individuals are listed here. So if I look at a company, and then it tells me how many employees I have underneath. So I know exactly what's going on. Who's the company driver, and who's the company staff, and then the people that work underneath it. So if I want to look once again, here, factory first, it lists that, and then I can look at the opportunities, the meetings, the sales I've had with this company. At a glance, I know this history. I can even provide insurance details so I can log in and create all of the insurance requirements working with subcontractors. So if I know they have to provide me proof of workman's comp, I can document theirs when it's renewed and alert them automatically, hey, I need a new certificate. Our goal is, once again, to manage the data to where you don't have to assign human capital to do the project. In the CRM, you can track opportunities. So every time an opportunity walks in your door for this company to make money, you can track your opportunities. You can create unlimited opportunities and unlimited stages, and track your win-loss ratio and how important it is, expected close date, expected revenue. Once again, you drag and drop it stage by stage, and the numbers change. So you know exactly what's going on when you're doing it. One other thing, I'm just going to go back real quick and show you another thing that's kind of important. If I look at a map view in my contacts, I now have a map of all my contacts that I have in the system. And I can see where they are. I can look over here and see how many I've got in Sacramento. And it lists them all over here, so I can click on any given one and say, oh, who is this guy? So we can see who they are. Got to get a little closer there, I believe. And then I can click on it over here, show each one where they are at, and anyone that's red actually has a geolocation in it, and I can see them on the map. I also have the ability to create a route plan. So if I got sales guys or service guys that have to go make 4 deliveries, in the office I can create the route, plan the route, send it to their cell phone for Google Maps to activate it, and then look at the progress of the delivery driver to see where they're at throughout the day. All done fairly seamless, fairly easy, to where the sales guys or delivery guys know exactly when, where, and how they got to go to manage their day. Talk about sales, we have the ability to create quotes. And so when you think about a quote, I can very easily open up a quote and edit it, and I can add who the customer is. The customer automatically would have his discount or list price terms and so forth. So the customer can dictate the discounts if involved. I also can quote any kind of product, whether it's a fixed product like I want to sell a stock bookcase, or maybe I want a parametric bookcase that if I type in the width, height, and depth and the finish, all the parts lists adjust and the cost adjust based on the size of that product. So I can do fixed calculations, or I can do parametric. Really makes no difference. I can email, once again, the quotes directly from, log notes in, and keep a history of every quote, every revision, every change order, every approval that's involved. We talked a little bit about document management. It has a built-in document management system that can organize documents on a customer or project, whatever you want to do. So you have one central repository for all documentation of any project you're doing up in the cloud, so it's safe and secure. We also have alerts. The cool part of this is I can set alerts up on any field, and if that data is changed in that field, I can automatically send a message, email or text, to anybody I want about that data change. For example, if I got a purchase order approved, I typed in the purchase order, the system will automatically send an email to the customer and say, thank you for your purchase order. This is the number, this is the amount, and we'll start this into production. In the same alert, I can assign the production manager to get a message to say, we just got the purchase order, it's approved, it's ready to start getting materials. One alert can alert several people automatically without human capital having to revisit it. Also has KPIs. So I've got dashboards that can tell us the data that we want to know. What's my win-loss ratio on orders? How many projects have I going at any given time? You know, what's my length of time between stages? How can I improve that? So we have full analytics to analyze all the data in the system, fully customized in graphs and charts of any configuration you really kind of want. Click on any one, it just opens you right up to that screen. You'll see what you're doing, and you can go right back. So once again, very easy to expose the data so you can understand it. Last thing that's kind of important is it has a built-in email system. Now, a lot of people would say, why would I want mass email, even if I'm just a small cabinet shop? If I have 10 contacts or 10 customers in my contact management system, and I want to send all 10 of them my Christmas card every year electronically, I can design the Christmas card. I can design the alterations every year so it changes and schedule it to always show up on December 20th at 3 p.m. in the afternoon to this group of people called clients. If I go from 10 clients to 15, the system automatically knows that and just keeps increasing the emails out. So it's really about automating your processes and using the system to reduce human capital expense. Also does text messaging the same way, so you can do mass text or mass email. Text costs a little bit, a few pennies per text, but email doesn't. We'll also have a status system that looks at any project, tracks it all the way through, so you can see when, where, how the project is, the manufacturing orders, the status of each one, how many days it's in any stage. So at a glance, you can cut and slice and dice the data to know where your projects are. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much a good overview of the projects system. It's pretty user-friendly. The implementation process is a few weeks. Customization, you can make it really do anything you want to do from different types of reports, different fields. As long as you spend time, money, and effort to do it, it's pretty simple to do. So any questions, Sean? Any thoughts? Anything else I missed?
I don't know that you missed anything. I thought it was really great. That was very helpful, I believe, to the attendees to understand when we're saying project management, we don't just mean a light attempt at patchwork, that it really is a system that is encompassing, you know, full CRM, full communications, all the data together, important KPIs, reports, great ways to be able to make sure that you're juggling all the balls and stuff. So I think that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you. And one thing I just mentioned in that, Sean, is you're absolutely right on that aspect. Because if you're doing a project of, let's just say, you know, 200 feet of cabinet, that's not so complex. But if you're doing a project that encompasses thousands of feet of cabinets, 4 or 5 different phases, different delivery times, different people managing each phase, it's very complex, but it's really simple to do in the system because you're looking at all the data.
Yes, very nice. Very, very nice. Well, again, I apologize for not being able to come to the game with a better voice today, but we've made it through our time. I want to thank you, Terry, for not only interviewing Michael and making that a great success that we have to share with others, but also doing a great job sharing the technology. So here's what I'd like to do. For those in attendance or listening to the session in a recorded version, please reach out and let us know when you have completed it, and let's schedule a time to spend together to review your processes, the things that are challenges inside of your business, and determine if project can be something that could really help your business become better. So with that, Terry, unless you have anything else, I'm going to honor everybody's time and end the webcast.
Well, that'd be great, Sean. And once again, I appreciate the invite. I appreciate our long working history together, and it's been fun. And I look forward to a really just an exciting future working with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. 2022 is exciting times for sure.
It is.
Again, thank you everyone for attending today. I really do appreciate it. I just respect so much that you gave your time to spend with us today, so we won't keep you over. But anyway, have a great day. Take care and God bless.
Thank you.